Hi there. Today I thought I'd actually just run through, it's a very short video just showing you what I've actually used in the last 12 months for, not just for planning, but as diaries. Now a lot of these, in fact these, they're just on a shelf now. These didn't really work for me, but I tried them just in the hope that, I mean, this stuff has actually cost me all quite a bit of money, just trying to find something that worked for me. So I'll start with this little guy here. So let me put some of these aside. So this was a little booklet that I found in a specialty store in my local town. And what I liked about this one is, you can see I've actually drilled hole punches in here because I was popping it in just a small A5 binder for work. I like that this one went from September 2015 through to 2016, so I was using this last year as well as at the beginning of this year. So I was able to slot into the back here just some quick shortcuts for, what's that for? That's for OneNote, I think it is. For OneNote, I use OneNote and Evernote quite a bit for note taking. Also had a quick little pen loop, card slot, so I was keeping business cards here. And in the front I was able to pop just any relevant documents from meetings or anything that I needed. This is what I was carrying with me anytime I went meetings, as well as my A5 notebook. And now I simply carry this and my A5 notebook. Okay, what I liked about this is, as you can see, I formed this habit a while ago, I hadn't realised I still had these here, of shoving post-it notes just inside the books. I've got access to them. These ones I actually think I trimmed down. Just let me check. I think I trimmed these down. I'll go to a blank page. That's blank enough. Yes, I did. I trimmed them down so that they'd actually fit in the diary pages, into the columns. Alright, so what I liked about this is, I loved the tabs down the side here for the months. Okay, so it just meant September, October, November, I could simply flick and open straight up. Open up, as you can see here, there's a nice clean month to a page. I'd make notes here of things that I needed to do. Okay, so here's another monthly page. And another again. So it just meant that nice month overview was fantastic to actually look at. Then we get into the weekly views. Okay, so in the weekly views, the way that I was using it was simply blocking out the time period. So this particular symposium went from 10 AM to 4 PM. Meetings after that, that's on the Monday, as you see, going through the week in that vertical format. I was trying colour coding at this stage. Can't remember what my colour coding meant, but doesn't matter now. So this actually worked well for me for quite some time. Notes and things I had to actually do, I was just jotting down the side. This worked very well for me. At the back of the diary, so it's just simply going through the months in that format. At the back of the diary it had some blank note pages. So I was then able to note down my actual, and keep track of my research days. As an academic, we're meant to get approximately a day a week. It doesn't mean you religiously take a day a week, but it essentially means that we get, over the course of a year, the equivalent of 52 days to focus on our research. Obviously we've got to have outcomes for that and be writing journal articles and book chapters and that type of thing. Here I tracked Christmas items and things that I was actually buying for people, and I initially started just by doing it this way. So this actually worked quite well for me. Like I said, just some blank extra note pages and just the normal data in the back. This diary I actually really loved. It's by Marks Incorporated, MARK''S. It's a Japanese company. Really liked it. It was actually just incredibly functional. So this was actually quite a good book. My reasoning for moving away for this was simply that I wanted to find something that did a little bit more for me, and I also wanted something a little bit pretty. And while I know that sounds quite frivolous, I think when we spend so much time with our diaries and planners, we like to have something that's nice to look at. But this really worked well. So I went from this to trying a Lily Pulitzer. So this was the Lily that I bought. I think I used this for about 2 weeks. This did not work for me at all. Again, post-it notes in the front of these. I'm thinking if I go back through all these, I'll get a lot of post-it notes back. What I did really like is I actually like the tab function, and I also really like that it was a year and a half. It's the academic calendar. For myself, especially working in higher ed, that academic calendar is actually quite good, works quite well. But you can see here, I've actually really barely used it. When did I start? Might have been September. I just simply went through and put some stuff in here. Where this fell down for me, and I think I can show you an example because I ended up having to rule it up. The monthlies was fine, it was quite similar to the other. Okay, so where this fell down for me is that I need to work on a timed format. In my role, I'll have meetings at various times, and I need to be able to judge whether that's early in the day, later in the day. This format in a diary, in a work diary, just doesn't suit me. Okay, so I then tried to modify this to work with me by popping lines in here. Now the intent there was, I was trying to make it so I could have a diary, essentially a timed diary on this side, and then my notes and tasks on the other. And while yes, that kind of worked, and then I was trying to break it up so that these lines were say 9 AM, 10 AM, doing them in hour blocks through. Which is why I've got the spacing here, so that's essentially towards the morning and this is in the afternoons. It just didn't work. So I persisted with it for a couple of weeks and then actually simply moved on to using a different diary. So this did not work for me. Sorry, I'm going to show you that I bought towards the end of the cycle, so I think I got it for $15 or something, as opposed to its usual $60. So Lily Pulitzer wasn't a hit for me. Looks pretty though. The next diary I went to was an Erin Condren. Now this one I bought on sale because it was towards the end of the cycle. What I like about it is I do like these covers. I actually find them really attractive. I like that I can pop my name on that. That's fabulous. What I don't like, this particular ring is far too big. It affects my ability to write. I understand what they're going for here, and in fact my dislike for the ring was so great that I ended up looking at a lot of YouTube videos on how to actually just simply cut these down and pop these pages into an A5 planner. And I still think that may be something, you know, in my future that I might have a go at, but I don't like the idea of actually spending so much money on a diary to cut it up and pull it apart. I'd rather I could actually buy it like that. So what I did like, I had to buy extra these holders to actually pop bits and pieces in. I gotta say, I kind of think they should come with it, but anyway. Oops, I'm getting Vlad coming to say hello. Yes, sweetheart. So this particular diary, again, much like the others, the monthly planning was actually fine, easy to use. What I didn't like is I was now at this stage thinking this is just actually a little bit too big. And this is actually the reason why I didn't go with an A5 planner. I ended up going down to a personal size. On reflection, now that I'm actually familiar with using A5 planners as desk planners and that type of thing as well, it's not so bad. Okay, so my error with this one was that I got, again, the vertical. Now I got the vertical because I was thinking, excuse me darling, I was thinking that I liked the vertical in this one, so surely in this. But for some reason, it just didn't quite work for me. I think it's more that I'm used to now taking so many notes in my diary that this just did not fit my need. And I did watch later on, just let me get the cat out of here again. Later on, I ended up watching a video of someone who actually was using this for work. So they covered over the Saturday and Sunday and then used this section as notes. Okay, so here I do actually make this a note section, but it just didn't feel right for me. That and this guy here is just so large that writing on this side is fine, but when I need to actually write on any Wednesday, even if I fold it over, it's actually quite difficult to write into these areas. I just found it just simply too large, this binder. Look, on the whole, it's quite a pretty diary. I won't buy another one though. It's just simply not that usable. And I said, I bought the extra things like these guys, bought the pen holder, the pen loop which I've got to say it's a rare pen that fits in those things. Maybe this one will. Okay, this little guy does. But anyway, so that was my experience with Erin Condren. I still watch a lot of Erin Condren videos because I like to actually, it gives me my dose of people doing the decorative planning. But for me, as a functional planner, while it is a perfectly serviceable diary, and I thought that I would really love it because this one I'd used for a long time, just didn't suit me at all. So after Erin Condren, I went to my Filofax. And I have many different Filofax cases because I changed them out on a whim. This is my beloved Hamilton that I love. Love the smell of him too. But the domino is great for just being able to toss around and go. And I did mention I'm going to move into this A6 Doki book for October. So thank you for just walking with me through the planners that I've actually used for the last 18 months, thereabouts. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to give it a like, or feel free to leave any comments below about different planners that you've tried successfully or unsuccessfully to use. Anyway, thank you very much and have a lovely day.